Hello, crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Shane with Home Run Crypto here. And today is one of my favorite days of the year. Today is the first round of the March Madness tournament. The round of 32 games starts today at 12:15, I believe. Man, I'm fired up. Today and tomorrow, my two favorite sports days of the year. I know this has nothing to do with crypto, but like I said in my first video, I'm a regular dude, and I love March Madness. One of my favorite times. Perhaps, could be my two favorite days of the year for a number of reasons. Here in the Northeast, it means that spring is right around the corner. So hopefully the weather's going to start to warm up. The snow's going to start to melt. You got the two most exciting sports days of the year, without question. Even if you don't have a favorite team, there's nothing better than popping on March Madness Thursday, Friday in March, middle of March, towards the end of winter. And whether you're in an office, whether you're at home, whether you're on the road, popping on the radio, everybody's watching these games. Everybody is looking for who the Cinderellas are going to be. And if you got a team in the race, it's an exciting time. Now, at heart, I am a Duke fan. Okay, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate just for that right now. At heart, I am a Duke fan. I've been a Duke fan my entire life. However, I'm a little bit of a pessimistic Duke fan. Bit of a love-hate. And I don't think they're good enough. I don't think they're good enough to go to the Final Four. Quite frankly, I think they got a tall test ahead of them first they got to win they got to beat Iona. Iona's not a joke, even as a 15 seed. I think that if they do beat Iona, they're going to struggle a little bit against Rhode Island. If, of course, Rhode Island beats Oklahoma, Rhode Island could knock off Duke. Even if they beat Rhode Island, I don't think there's any chance that they beat Michigan State. Now, when it comes to college football, I'm a massive Michigan fan. So I'm sporting my Michigan gear. I love their team this year. I always love them in the tournament. I love the way they play the game. Very well coached, very exciting to watch, and they just won the Big Ten. So they're coming out guns blazing. I mean, they just beat Michigan State to winning the Big Ten championship, and I think they got a great team, very well coached. So I'm sporting my Michigan gear all March. And I'd love to see them come out, go to the Final Four, potentially go to the championship game. I'll give you two of my upsets, and then I will move on to some crypto stuff. So, one, I like South Dakota State. I like the Jackrabbits to take down the Buckeyes. 12-5 seed in the West region. Anytime North Dakota State or South Dakota State is in it, for no particular reason, I don't know why, I just like to pick them. I actually think this is a good team that could go to the Sweet 16. I think they're legit, so they could really surprise some people. I also have my biggest upset is Stephen F. Austin, a 14 seed, taking down the number 3 Texas Tech. So we'll see how that plays out. I got a few more. Those are my two biggest ones. With that said, I'll go over some other things in my bracket in later videos, but. Welcome back. This is Shane with Home Run Crypto, and there's a couple things I wanted to go over today. I was reading an article late last night on Cointelegraph. For those of you, Cointelegraph.com is a pretty good resource for crypto news. So is Altcoin Today. That's a really good resource too. You just see what people are talking about, what the masses are seeing. Google banning these crypto ads, that's just FUD. The one thing I loved, so the article I was reading last night was about Coinbase calling out the SEC, I believe it was. Was it the SEC? At a DC hearing. They called out, not the SEC directly, but they called out federal regulators for harming innovation, because basically you have all these regulating bodies and figures that are freaking out about this crypto thing, and they're digging their hands in and just slapping on all these regulations and rules, and they don't really understand it at all. So they just feel, I think my theory is that they feel like they're losing control of the money supply, and that money is being redefined as we know it, and they're freaking out because they don't have control over it. They didn't issue it. It's completely decentralized. It's not controlled by anybody. So they're freaking out over losing this control and this power over the money supply and the monetary system. So they're just slapping on regulations left and right, something they don't even really understand, which I don't even understand how that's possible. I think you should be required to at least demonstrate a thorough understanding of what it is you are regulating. And I think if you were to poll the crypto community, I think the vast majority would check, the box that says no. I do not wish to be. I do not wish for this industry to be regulated like it is. Yes, I understand the risks and the volatility and this whatever. Me personally, I don't need a centralized body to protect me from the market, to protect me from volatility. I don't need any of that shit. And I like to think that the majority of this community is the same way. So I just wanted to touch on that article. Check it out for yourself. I'll put it in the comments section. It came out 13 hours ago. So it's a good read. It's nice to see Coinbase kind of stepping up and coming out and voicing this. In the recent months, I've had a little bit of a somewhat of a negative view towards Coinbase, being one of the first users. That's where I first bought Bitcoin. I didn't really like a lot of things they've done in the last few months, but seeing this is bringing them more in a positive light for me. So the chief legal and risk officer at Coinbase, Mike Lempres, he stated that the power of the digital currencies technology can transform capital formation, innovation, and economy, saying that its tremendous potential can be only achieved through responsible regulation. However, at the current stage, the U.S. regulatory system is harming healthy innovation due to a lack of understanding of what should be allowed and what should be not, and how digital assets should be considered either as securities, commodities, property, or money. And then here's the full quote from Mike Lempres. There is so much uncertainty about the definition of a security and the scope of a regulatory control that the market is being chilled. This is bad for everyone because the technology won't stop. It will simply move overseas, and we will miss out on the opportunity to cultivate the benefits in the U.S. So I think that's very well said. If it were me, I'd probably stand up with my pants down and both middle fingers up, telling them to fuck off because there's no need for this. This is a decentralized ecosystem that's being built. There's just the reason why this crypto thing is working and going to work is because of removing the middleman, removing these bodies of control, these bodies of regulation. So I think, obviously Mike Lempres is certainly more elegant than I am, or would be, but I think I think that's a big deal, coming from, one of the main guys in Coinbase, which Coinbase is, of course, the most used, I guess what you would call an exchange, even though, of sorts, for purchasing Bitcoin, probably also for purchasing Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, with US dollars. So big deal, I think, coming from him. And I think that's going to spell, good for us moving forward. The key thing I like about the statement is that the scope of regulatory control that the market is being chilled. So I couldn't agree more. I've been talking back and forth with my closest buddies that are in crypto, and I was explaining to them, they're like, dude, like, what's going on? Do you think we're going to get back to 20,000 by the end of the year? Do you think we're going to go down to, such and such a level? And I'm like, I think we're going to break a new all-time high actually sooner than you think. I think we're going to break it by June 1st. Now, but the thing is that this FUD that's being created, and it's just coming in at all angles, is chilling the market, right? It's chilling the market. And that's exactly, in my opinion, that's exactly what the big players, the powers that be want. They want to chill this market and keep it as low as they can for as long as they can, so they can just add to that stockpile of Bitcoin, just get more and more and more and build their position. And the longer this drags on, the more that they can do it without anybody really raising any eyebrows. If somebody were to put an order in for $500 million worth of Bitcoin, that would get a lot of attention, right? Obviously, Bitcoin's a public ledger. You can see these transactions. So if somebody were to put in $500 million into Bitcoin today, that would be, all over social media. It would probably be on Cointelegraph, and people would know about it, right? So the advantage that these powers that be have is that they can, if they can drag on this chilling period, just keeping Bitcoin on ice, keeping the price as low as they can, and perhaps even driving it down. Instead of placing one $500 million order, they can put, 10 million here, 20 million here, 10 million here. And the longer this period goes out, the more that they could just execute these smaller orders, right? All over the place, and just get more and more and more and more and more and more and more. So that's obviously, this is my own opinion. None of this is investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is strictly for educational purposes only, and perhaps entertainment if you find me entertaining. So I'll close with that. Not much more. I don't want to make these videos too long. So I'll close with that. Good article by Cointelegraph today, or last night, I should say. And I did see Bitcoin dip below 8,000 yesterday, back above 8,000, which is nice. Ultimately, long term, this period is going to seem trivial, although I'm sure we will remember it, and remember how challenging and frustrating it was. So that's it for today, guys. Go Jackrabbits, South Dakota State. Go Stephen F. Austin. And go Blue. All right, guys. Home Run Crypto. Have a good one.